The Nest is heating up as one of the craziest arcs in all of Tower of God. It definitely has some of the most powerful members of the entire tower, residents of the entire tower, that we've ever seen. New characters, old characters combined. And so I wanted to take a second, there's 519 chapters out of Tower of God right now, and sort of place my rankings on who I think are the strongest people currently fighting in the war, ranking them from number 10 to number 1. Couple of honorable mentions, Yorari and Orari and the Huge Snake. Didn't want to rank them yet because although we've seen bits and pieces of what the big snake is capable of, we haven't really seen him in like full-fledged combat, doing all these maneuvers and things and comparing his strength, so I don't want to rank him yet, but I definitely do think that Giant Snake slash, Yorari is going to be a massive threat. Also, the guy who's like going around stealing souls for Liboric and fighting Hybrider, I don't think he's top 10 material, but I'm mentioning him just in case he does pull out something crazy after his whole fight with the monster. At number 10, we've got Karaka the Slayer. Now, you might be surprised that Karaka's on this list. I'm putting him here because not only is Karaka a Slayer, he's immortal, he's very powerful, he just became a high ranker, but also because he has an entire army at his disposal, and yes, I'm going to count that. Karaka is a force to be reckoned with, and although he's dealing with Fusel right now and all that stuff, I do think he is one of the larger threats here. Obviously not like the number 1 or top 5, but like you can't forget about Karaka. He's going around with his army, he even has his own little squad of like Death Lady and Death Bird, and I don't know, like, we can't underestimate Karaka despite the fact that it's quite easy to make fun of them. Number 9, we've got Yama the Slayer. Another Slayer. Yama is also, of course, a big deal, but I'm putting him relatively low because although he just got the Fang, although he's healed up and getting stronger, he hasn't achieved that strength yet, at least in my opinion. Right now, he's just conquering that fear that Ysracha placed in him. He hasn't really shown off a new strength that I've seen, and until he learns how to master that complete transformation, then maybe I'll see him like rising through the ranks, becoming one of the actually like biggest threats of the entire Nest. But for now, he's a big deal. I think he's gonna beat Ysracha, but he just hasn't achieved that quite yet. At number 8, we've got White Garment Widow. This one is taking me by surprise, but I am not regretting this placement. In fact, maybe Widow is even more of a big deal. I have a feeling she's gonna be beaten fairly quickly, maybe in the next few chapters by Evenkel, but again, I don't know, it depends on how SIU wants to handle this branch leader. Branch leaders are a big deal. It took Paul, Doom, Kuhn, and LaFave to take down Dekoko, the branch leader of the Windbird family. So, we look at him and then we look at White Garment Widow, and Widow could be even stronger than Dekoko. And of course, Widow is currently fighting Evenkel, which is a huge deal in and of itself. So Widow's a big deal. I could see Widow being even higher, but for now, I'm gonna keep her at number 8. Not to mention the fact that she's also commanding Sicarius and her own little personal army. So she's definitely a big threat. At number 7, we have Ysracha. Ysracha, I don't know, man. I mean, he's huge. This man has been basically the main antagonist of the Nest up until this point. I would say now we're leaning towards Traumarai, we're leaning towards Liboric, but Ysracha has always been a huge deal. I think currently he's stronger than Yama, but again, I think Yama's gonna learn how to master those fangs and eventually overpower him with like a full, complete transformation. But even now, Ysracha has that complete beastification transformation thing, which is terrifying and super cool. And he just has so much at his disposal. He has his own army and his own squadron. Ysracha is a force to be reckoned with. I think he could be even higher on the list as well, due to the fact that he has the mind control ability, but we don't know how far the mind control can actually go, which I talk about in more detail in my video here. At number 6, we have Kuhn, Mashini, Jahad. I'm putting Mashini quite high on this list because obviously she is strong physically and has her abilities and powers and everything, but I also just think she is, politically powerful. Maybe politically is not the right word, but the fact that she's manipulating everyone, right? She's controlling all of these events, and she's playing 5D chess, like everyone always says, and it's true. Mashini, it feels like she's really in control of the situation at the Nest, and we can't underestimate that. We cannot just look past that, Not to mention the fact she has the Yellow May, she's a princess, she's from one of the 10 families, she's obviously really physically strong and could take on many of these top players, but she's also just controlling everything, and I feel like we gotta give her some credit for that. At number 5, we have Calivan, because we cannot forget about Calivan. Essence of bravery boy, the man who took down Jin Sung Ha. I think this guy's gonna fight Lyboric, and I think he's gonna win, you know? We cannot forget that Calivan is an absolute monster. This man got his arm blown off by White and then regrew it with Shinsu. You know, well, he blew up his own arm, you know, against White. Like, we cannot forget that Calivan has taken down Jin Sung Ha, one of the strongest warriors in the tower. He's currently just sitting around waiting for Chonhee, you know, and he's gonna fight Lyboric, but I truly believe we're gonna have an epic battle between Calivan and Lyboric, and Calivan's gonna come out on top. I have faith in my boy. It makes narrative sense as well. He's gonna get that revenge. I think Calivan is more prepared than ever to be as strong as we've ever seen him. At number 4, we have Lyboric. Dude, I gotta tell you, man, Lyboric is not messing around. This guy has lived for what, like 10,000, 15,000 years? Ever since the age of Genesis, just working for Adori, working for Jahat, working for the whoever. He's from 2 different great families, he's a lightning user, he's freaking intimidating, and he's an elf man. This guy is crazy. A lot of people seem to think that Lyboric, you know, he's like, okay, he's a mastermind, but when it comes to combat, you know, like, what can he really do? It's like, dude, Lyboric, we saw him recently take down LaFave like it was nothing. He's gonna freaking fight Calivan. You know, Han Song is afraid of him. Like, Lyboric is a big deal, all right? So whether it comes to his power within the army, or whether it comes to his relationship with Adori as her right-hand man, or as far as being just a fighter, do not underestimate Lyboric. At number 3, we have Evenkel. I'm putting my chips in Evenkel's corner because, my goodness, she's kind of been getting smacked around lately. She got sniped by LaFave, and the only reason she lived is because I believe Kuhn warned her. No, Hockney warned her about it. My boy Hockney, let's go. And now she's been impaled by White Garment Widow, so it's like, okay, Evenkel, you're kind of falling off a little bit, but I think that's SIU's way of just making us like, oh no, what's gonna happen to Evenkel? And then she gets up and just absolutely wreaks havoc. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna melt down, you know, Widow's shield or something. She's gonna do something. She's gonna decompress more, or like SIU once said that Evenkel was like absolutely massive. Like stories high. I feel like I've heard that before. Maybe he retconned it, but regardless, Evenkel has to summon the elephant. She has all the flames, the orbs. She has so much at her disposal that we still haven't really truly seen at full maximum power, and I think we're gonna get that in her fight against Widow. Evenkel, you better do well. I'm placing my trust in you. All right, at number 2, we have Baam. All right, you might be like, Joe, what do you mean you're placing Baam so high? I'm really not, okay? I'm not placing Baam high at all. This is literally where he is. If you count his fight against White, who was way stronger, not way stronger, but who was at least Calivan level, and Baam was starting to take him down like it was almost nothing, right? White even admitted that Baam was stronger than him. Baam is clearly at this level. Because even during that fight, he wasn't using everything he had. The Black March and the Thorns, he was using bits and pieces of his power, but he has so much. Baam has so much, and I feel like he can just grow in an instant, so I'm placing Baam here with no hesitation whatsoever. Baam is clearly like the second biggest threat at the entirety of the nest. Baam is insane. All right, now you might be like, this person isn't technically at the nest, but I'm counting it. You know, he is a threat. He's a force that is overpowering and shadowing the nest at this current moment. And that's Lopobia Traumarai. I want Traumarai to just absolutely wreck Baam when they fight, because they're going to fight. Don't get me wrong, they are going to fight, and I don't want SIU to be like, whoa, Baam's actually putting up a fight against Traumarai. Traumarai is a god. He entered the tower with Jahad and the other companions. He's a god. He's existed for 20,000 years. The master anima, he can control anybody he wants. As far as we know, this guy is a god. I want Traumarai to show up, I want him to intimidate everyone, and I want him to just lay down the law, you know? Showcase that the 10 family heads are a huge deal. What's really interesting is that apparently, like, he hasn't really been known in the tower, like, people haven't heard about him, he's been a recluse, and it's like, okay, how is this guy going to compare to the other family heads? Because we don't know his ranking, we don't really know much about his fighting power aside from the fact that he's a master anima. So I really want to see what he can do, but without hesitation, he's the strongest being currently at the nest, or connected to the nest if you want to go there. So Traumarai earns number 1. Thank you for watching. I'm really curious if you think I've forgotten someone, because maybe I have. You know, I've just kind of been trying to remember everyone. I mean, Han Sung-yu and Chon Hee and like all these people are strong, but like who are the real like top contenders? Did I put Karaka too high? Did I put Yama too low? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Check out the recent Towers and Gods episode we did, because it was a blast and the mystery is getting crazier and crazier, and starting this Friday the pace is going to quicken as we continue up with this positions test, so stick around if you want to see more of Towers and Gods. And with that being said, I will see you in the next Tower of God discussion video. Take care.